This is the Fertile Mindset podcast, where we explore all the emotional aspects of fertility to support you on your path to parenthood. My name is Sarah Holland. I'm the Fertile Mindset coach and a mother to 2 children after my own fertility challenges. I hope you find all the support and inspiration you need within this podcast to carry you forward on your fertility journey towards your own successful outcome. It's also my wish that through listening to these episodes, you rediscover how to enjoy life now and live it to the full while you wait for your baby. Now, let's begin today's episode. Hello, and welcome back to the Fertile Mindset podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I know a lot of people do, but you might be really worried about doing. If you know EFT already, you may only use it when you're by yourself, when you've got a bit of, private time, when you can connect with your emotions. You can sit and tap and not worry about anyone seeing what you're doing, because let's be honest, tapping does look a bit strange, doesn't it? You're literally using your own fingertips to tap on points on the face, the head, the upper body, the hands. It's not easy to disguise what you're doing. There are ways, but typically it's pretty obvious that you're doing EFTs. So not many people tap in public. It doesn't mean no one does. I definitely have clients who've told me how really helpful it is to tap in public, and they have their own routine of going for a walk and tapping in the woods, or they tap on their morning commute train every day, and that's fantastic. And I've tapped in public myself as well, and I'm going to talk about a few of those times in a moment. So I'd like to ask you, if you use EFT, if you know how to tap, have you ever tapped in public? Would you dare tap in public? Yes, it looks strange. It might attract some inquisitive looks from other people, especially if they have absolutely no idea what you're doing and why. However, there are some really, really good reasons to have a go at tapping in public, and I'm going to share those with you now. Now, remember, if you don't know what I'm talking about here, if you've never heard of EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping, then I have lots of free resources for you, and the best way to access them is through joining my Fertile Mindset Sanctuary membership, which the free membership level is open right now, and you can find that at fertilemindset.com/sanctuary, or you can listen to episode number 20, where I talk about EFT and guide you through how to tap in that podcast. That's episode number 20 here on the Fertile Mindset podcast. Now, presuming that you know how to tap, it's a really good support tool, but you're a little bit cautious, a little bit nervous, should we say, about tapping in public, I'd like to share 3 really good reasons to give it a go. So, reason number 1, and this is the most obvious reason you could say, and the one you'll get the most instant effects and instant results from, is that if you tap in public when you're being triggered, when you're feeling a certain emotion, an uncomfortable emotion, then you are going to get immediate relief from that emotion, from that stress, that anxiety, that worry, whatever it may be. Because you're in the moment, you're experiencing it, and you tap, and you can instantly bring some relief to it and help you calm down your mind, calm your thoughts, calm your reactions. So that's a really good reason to do it. And especially when you're on a fertility journey, there can be many times when you're in a situation when you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling stressed. It could be on the way to your fertility clinic to an important appointment. You could tap then. You could tap while you're in the waiting room. You could actually tap during tests and procedures while they're being done. That's something I've done myself and found really supportive. And I think nurses, doctors are getting used to seeing people tapping now or using other relaxing techniques. So, you probably won't be the first person they've seen do it. And of course, you can explain what you're doing as well. But you'll find that if you do take that opportunity to tap when you're in the moment of feeling something, then you are going to get those immediate results, those immediate benefits, and that release of negative emotions. So that's reason number 1, and the most obvious and the most important one as well. Reason number 2 is that when you tap exactly when you need to, which may well be when you're in a public place, when you're with other people, it's actually a real opportunity to get to the heart of the issue. Because when you tap in the moment, when you're feeling it, you're not having to think your way into the issue. You're already there. You're already experiencing the fear, the worry, the anxiety, whatever it may be. And you don't even have to know why it's triggered or exactly what is the problem here, because you are taking the opportunity of being connected to the emotion and tapping in the moment. And that is a wonderful way really to get to the roots of the issue, the heart of the issue, and resolve it permanently or long term. My own example of this, which isn't a fertility example, but I'd encourage you to think wider than just you and your fertility anyway, when you think about what you can use EFT with and how you can support yourself emotionally. But my experience with this, my first experience of tapping in public, was in the airport departure lounge. I think it was at Heathrow or Gatwick, I forget which one of the London airports, just as I was about to board a plane on my own for the very first time. I'd flown with other people before, many times, and on those flights, I was getting increasingly nervous, increasingly scared of flying, and it was developing into a real phobia. And on that day when I was standing ready to board a plane, and it would be the first time I was going to fly on my own, plus I was boarding a really small plane. It was a propeller plane, okay? I think it seated about 20 people. So I'd never been on a plane that small before. It looked and it sounded completely different and even more scary than the big kind of more comfortable jumbo jets and things that I'd been on. And my anxiety and my fear was sky high in that moment. So I took the opportunity of tapping in public at that moment in the departure lounge with my back turned to everybody else, just looking at the plane and tapping through all the points. I just took a few moments, just did one round of tapping, maybe two. And in that moment, I was connected to absolutely anything and everything that I thought and I feared about flying, because I know there were many different aspects to that fear. It wasn't just about one thing. I had all sorts of thoughts in my mind that had accumulated in this phobia. And by tapping in the moment, it was a real opportunity to get to the heart of that fear and completely dissolve it. And the truth is that as I walked onto that plane, I felt relaxed, I felt calm, I enjoyed the flight. And ever since that day, which, gosh, is getting on for 18 years ago probably now, ever since that day, I've really loved flying, really loved flying and seen kind of all the joy that flying can bring and how exciting it is to look out the window and to have that amazing opportunity to fly. So yeah, take that opportunity. It's a real opportunity to tap in the moment, which often will be in public, but what an amazing gift that will give you. Now, my reason number 3 to take the opportunity to tap in public isn't guaranteed. It's not something that will happen every time, but I think it's a real opportunity, an opportunity for support, for growth, for all sorts of things. Every time that you tap in public around other people can see you tapping, there's a chance that someone else who knows EFT themselves, knows how to tap, will see you. They'll know exactly what you're doing and they'll feel encouraged to tap themselves. You'll be trailblazing, you'll be leading the way and showing them that this is a good technique. We know how to use it. Why not continue to use it in public as well and get all the benefits that we just talked about? So that's one thing that can happen, and I know that has happened, and other people have seen each other and said, oh, are you tapping? I tap too, and they've carried on and tapped by themselves as well. Another thing that might happen is that someone might see you and they don't know what you're doing, and they might ask you. They might say, excuse me, what is it you're doing right there? I'd love to know, and it gives you an opportunity to share it with them. It gives you an opportunity to share this amazing solution to stress. I think it's the best solution to stress that is, anyone can use. And if you hadn't done that, that person may never have learnt about EFT. So that's another benefit that can happen. You can be supporting others without even realising you'd be doing that. And lastly, when you tap in public, someone may recognise what you're doing, know that you're tapping, and they may offer you some support. And wouldn't that be amazing? If you're at a point when you're feeling triggered, feeling overwhelmed, feeling stressed, and then someone comes by your side and offers some support to you. And this happened to me, not when I was tapping, but I saw someone else tapping. And I was on a plane, a different plane this time, just a few years ago. I was well into loving my flights by then and enjoying the flight. And I was sitting next to a woman who had seemed okay throughout the flight. I hadn't noticed any tension. But as the plane started to land, she was frantically tapping on any and all points on her body and her hands, and she just seemed to really not remember what she was doing. She was kind of in a panic and quite flustered. So I asked her, I said, excuse me, do you mind me asking, are you trying to tap, use EFT? And she said, yes, I am, but I can't remember what to do. My therapist showed me and I've completely forgotten. So I said, well, I'm an EFT therapist myself, so would you like me to guide you through it? And she said, oh, yes, please, that would be amazing. So for the rest of the landing, I don't know, it must have been another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know how long it lasted. We just sat side by side and I tapped on the points myself and she followed me, and I think I gave her some words to say, and I was just guiding whatever she needed at the time. And her boyfriend, who was sat the other side of her, was just looking like mouth agape, couldn't believe what he was seeing, how calm she was. He said, this is the first time that she hasn't needed to get up and pace on the flight for as long as she can until the plane, is landing and they tell her to sit down. Usually she's trying to get out of her seat and get away. And it's amazing to see her sitting still and calm and just feeling relaxed through the whole landing of the plane. And that was amazing. And I hope she continued to use it. And if she hadn't tapped in public, if she hadn't felt brave enough, she wouldn't have received the support, and she probably would have still had a really negative experience on the flight. And who knows, it might have continued. So you never know what's going to happen when you tap in public. It could help you. It could help someone else. It could bring in more support. Worst thing that can happen is you just look a bit silly. Let's be honest, that's the worst thing that could happen, is you just look a bit silly. You might get a couple of funny looks, but you'll be receiving all of the support that you need. And like I talked about with my fear of flying in the departure lounge, there are ways to, be discreet if you wish to. There are ways to find a little corner or something, or just tap discreetly on the points. A lot of the points are quite discreet, like the collarbone, the side of the hand point. I find that my points that are most useful to me personally are the under the nose and the chin point. So sometimes if I want to tap in public, I might just tap those 2 points. And you may well find your own tapping points that feel really supportive, really calming, and then perhaps you can just go to those 1 or 2 points, and it's very discreet and easy to do in public as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this little pep talk about tapping in public. I know it's something that not many people do, but at the same time there definitely are people out there doing it. Have a look around next time you're out, next time you're in a crowded environment or anywhere else on a plane or something. You might be surprised and see someone else tapping too. And remember, you can sign up to the Fertile Mindset Sanctuary if you'd like my guidance and support in how to learn tapping and how to use it really thoroughly for you and your fertility journey. You can go to fertilemindset.com/sanctuary and sign up on at least the free level right now. The paid level isn't open right now, but it will be shortly. But you can get in on the free level of membership now and still receive lots of training resources and support in using EFT. I also send out a weekly Tapping Tuesday email to all my sanctuary members, both free and paid, and they receive a tapping tip every single week. As soon as you sign up, you'll receive those tips weekly. And then in just a few days, if you're listening to this podcast on the release day, in just a few days, I am announcing a really special new event, completely online, free of charge to register, that is going to be bringing the most thorough, the most interactive, the most supportive way to learn EFT for your fertility and to be guided through using it. It's going to be amazing. I've never run an event like this in the past. I don't think anyone has ever done this before, where we're really going to dive deeply into how EFT can support you on your fertility journey and support you every step of the way of doing that. So that is coming soon. Look out for my posts on social media at Fertile Mindset. If you're a member of the Sanctuary, you will receive emails about it as soon as registration is open. And the actual event itself is happening the first week of February. So I look forward to seeing you there. Look out for my posts on social media and my emails. And I look forward to speaking to you again next time on the Fertile Mindset podcast. I'm so pleased you're listening to the Fertile Mindset podcast, and now I would love to invite you to join us in the Fertile Mindset Sanctuary. The Sanctuary is my fertility support membership, which is focused on taking care of you and helping you enjoy your life while you wait for your baby. In the Sanctuary, I'll guide you through using an amazing technique called EFT or tapping, and you'll soon be feeling less stressed and more joyful. If you're not already in the Sanctuary, do come and join us today, because the best time to start receiving support on your fertility journey is always right now. Honestly, it makes such a difference to have good quality emotional support and techniques that you can pick up and use yourself whenever you need them. Go to fertilemindset.com/sanctuary to join us today. I look forward to hopefully seeing you there and at the next episode of the Fertile Mindset podcast.